Hey guys, this is Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews, and today we are doing yet another treadmill review, but one that I actually really like. This is the NordicTrack 2450. Now, in the NordicTrack series, there's a couple treadmills that I actually really like, but they have a little bit of differences between the two. So they have the 1250, they have the 1750, which if you've been around here for any amount of time, you know that I talk about the 1750 like a ton. It's in like basically every roundup review we do, and then it also just has its own special place in our hearts, okay? But today we are going to talk about the 2450. Now, this is a little bit more expensive than the 1750, but if you are looking for a bigger screen and a couple different features that the 1750 doesn't offer, I think this would be a good one to check out. Along with the 2450, they have a really good length of the deck. We're going to talk about the specific measurements of that, but they also comes along with a very cushioned deck. Similarly to the 1750, the NordicTrack does a really good job of offering a cushioned deck. So if you are somebody who's like said, I can't run, running hurts my knees, it's too bad of like a hard impact on my joints, whatever the case may be, I think you should try something like a cushioned deck like the NordicTrack offers, particularly either the 1750 or the 2450. Both offer a really nice cushioned deck. But before we get into the specifics, all the details of this treadmill behind me, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Continue to see videos just like this one. Also, if you want to go ahead and purchase this treadmill, we have placed a link below the like button, making it super easy for you to do that. When you use that link, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just gives us a small added commission. And lastly, this was sent to us by the company. We always like to be upfront, tell you exactly where it came from. And just so you know, I will always be honest with you. I will tell you exactly what I like and I don't like about a product. Let's get into more of the specifics of the NordicTrack 2450. Now, this is an upgraded version. Now, the older version had a couple different things in terms of aesthetic-wise that I think the 2450 updated version does a little bit better. So for instance, this does not have a crossbar action. A lot of times with that crossbar action, people think if you take that away, it takes away from the stability of the machine. I just don't think that is the case. I have tested both the old version and the new version, and in terms of stability and durability, I haven't noticed any difference. One thing I do think you are missing out with on that crossbar action is those like extra small storage components. So if you're somebody who loved to have a place to put your wallet or your keys or whatever knickknacks that you had, you're gonna miss out on that new updated version. However, I think like in terms of aesthetic wise, this is much more pleasing on the eye. It's much more modern looking. It has that nice Z-design that we see NordicTrack kind of moving into. So overall, this is a really like sleek and sexy looking treadmill. Although it is missing that crossbar action, it still does come with a decent fan, cup holders, and Bluetooth connectivity. If you are following along with the iFit programming, or if you've been somebody interested in following along with the iFit programming, I know it's gaining like a ton of traction, then this is a good treadmill to have. This comes along with iFit programming. So remember, with the iFit programming, you are going to have to pay that monthly subscription cost. So that monthly subscription kind of breaks down to $180 for an individual membership or $39 a month for a family membership that contains up to 5 user profiles. Now with iFit programming and this treadmill specifically, it has two things that I really like. One is the auto trainer control. So you pick a class, go ahead, jump on it, and essentially it becomes a hands-free experience. So let's say you want to do a moderate run through China, or you want to go ahead and go fast on the beach. They are going to go ahead and set your resistance, set your incline, set your speed to the location that the trainer is at. So if you are on the beach, obviously you're going to create more resistance. You might have a little bit of decline action going on. Your treadmill is automatically going to adjust to those preset settings that the trainer has already set. I love that fact. Some people don't, but I think it just makes for a more immersive experience. In terms of like specifics of this treadmill, you go from 0 to 12 miles per hour. Now this is pretty standard. This is generally what we see across the board, especially with NordicTrack treadmills. Now, again, it has that decline option. So it has 3% decline all the way up to a 12% incline. Now, with the previous model, I did see on the internet that it had a 15% incline grade. That is not the case anymore. It only needs that 12% incline. However, I don't think that is a deal breaker at all. Another thing that has changed from the previous model to this updated model is its motor size. So with its previous model, it had a 4.0 CHP motor. Now it only has a 3.6 CHP motor. Truth be told, I'm kind of surprised by this, but I don't notice a difference, and I think that a 3.6 CHP motor is like a really great motor size that's going to be able to last you a very long time. It's going to be able to handle any sort of speed, any sort of incline that you throw at it. So I'm really not disappointed, even though it is a little bit of a difference. This is a heavier machine and it does have a decent weight capacity. It meets that industry standard of 300 pounds, so essentially allowing a lot of people to be able to use this treadmill. Keep in mind, this is priced, you're coming in at $2,500. So this is not what we would consider a budget-friendly option. Now, along with this though, we have that higher price point. It also comes with a 22-inch rotating touchscreen TV. So essentially it is going to rotate a full 360 degrees. I actually really like this fact. So let's say that you are taking an iFit cross-training class or some sort of like circuit work that you are using. You're going to be hopping on and off the treadmill. Well, you can go ahead and easily rotate that screen on and off to go ahead, follow along with the class, make the movements that your trainer are doing super visible, super easy to follow along, hop back on that treadmill, swivel it back around, and do the run portion. So I love that this screen is rotating almost that full 360 degrees. Another thing that I like about this is it has active pulse technology. Now you are going to have to buy a SmartBeat heart rate monitor that goes along and connects to this treadmill, but what it is going to do is it's going to keep track of your heart rate. So you can set a target heart rate. If your heart rate goes past that target point, it's going to go ahead and slow down that treadmill. If again, your heart rate is too low, it's going to go ahead and increase the speed of that treadmill. So you can go ahead and set it to exactly what you want it to be and meet your heart rate target goal. In terms of a deck size, it has a 20 by 60 inch belt deck. Now this is industry standard, this is adequate. This is going to be great for anybody who really has a long stride or somebody who is taller. If you have a long stride, I don't think that I would do anything less than that 60 inches. So this meets my mark, but as well as industry standards mark. Again, this is a heavier treadmill weighing 303 pounds in the box. Now, in terms of assembly, this is something that I would honestly pay white glove delivery service for if you can afford it. I think that the hassle of putting this thing together is going to be worth that extra added cost to a white glove delivery service. But if you can't afford that cost, I don't think it's the biggest deal. I do think that you are going to need at least 1 or 2 people along with you to help you assemble it, and it is going to take a little bit of time, but overall it still is doable, even for me, even for somebody who just learned the difference between a Phillips head and a flat screwdriver head. So this has easy lift assist technology, so they have hydraulics on the back, meaning that your deck is going to lower super slow. So I think this is great if you have like small kids, small pets running around. You don't want the belt deck to like slam down to the ground, causing like a massacre, which we all want to avoid. Nobody wants a massacre, okay? So we like the fact that this has hydraulic, slow lowering belt deck. Just makes it a lot more safer and a lot more easier, especially even if you are wanting to like raise the belt deck frequently. It's going to assist you in that raising process so that it's not just all on you. Last couple of things I will say, obviously this does come with programming that you are going to have to pay a monthly subscription for. But if you do not want to use that programming, this is essentially useless, okay? You can't really use this on manual mode, and I think you're wasting $2,500 to have a treadmill that the real offering for this treadmill, I think, is the iFit programming. Yes, it's a great treadmill. Yes, it has a lot of things that I really like about it, but there are other cheaper versions like the Horizon 7.0 that is just as good in terms of a treadmill, but doesn't offer programming. So with that being said, if you live someplace that does not have a strong internet connection, I would avoid this one because you are going to need a strong internet connection to connect to that iFit programming. Now, last thing about this, it does come with a 10-year warranty on the frame and 2 years on parts and labor. One thing to remember is with NordicTrack treadmills or with NordicTrack equipment in general, if you keep this in a non-climate controlled area, you have the potential to avoid the warranty. So essentially, if you are wanting to keep this in your garage gym, you need to go through that warranty and make sure that you are meeting the requirements and meeting the standards that they have set out for you. Things like it has to be insulated, it has to be some sort of like climate controlled element to that. Otherwise, you have the potential to avoid that warranty. Okay, let us know what you guys think in the comments about this 2450 NordicTrack treadmill. I personally love it. I think it is just as good as the 1750. It basically just has a larger screen. So if you are somebody wanting that larger screen factor, kind of that wow factor, I think go for it. Let us know if you do. This has been Lindsay with Garage Gym Reviews. Peace.